Jared Leto, actor, cult leader, professional Jesus wannabe, the one person who hadn't heard of the coronavirus. It is widely believed that he once played the Joker, but this is a myth. I don't know who he was playing in this role, but it wasn't really the Joker. Moral of the story, this guy's eccentric, even by my standards, and there isn't much about him I wish to emulate. But this look, this moment harkened to something deep within me. And when the call went out for us humble civilians to recreate our favorite Met-gala looks because the Met-gala was cancelled because of that pandemic Jared Leto had never heard about, this was undoubtedly and indubitably my first choice. Actually, this was, but I couldn't find orange feathers. Step 1 of making a girlier version of this look was me looking down at my iPad and making a sketch. Oh wait, that's not me, that's a sneak peek of what's to come. I did actually make a sketch on my iPad though, and then posted this final image to Zelda, please be quiet, honey. I posted this to Instagram where I was met with a flurry of desperate DMs beseeching me to add sleeves and make the dress floor-length. And because I am impressionable to the will of the masses, sorry for that thumping sound, my Velocirooster is eating. Then after buying all the necessary supplies, I tried to get my dad and friend to guess what I was making.
Now here's the game. I'm gonna show you the items and we're gonna see if you can guess what I'm making. Plaster strips. This fabric has to do with it. This doesn't have to do with it. I just got it.
Too cute. I almost bought that for your birthday.
Did you really? Plaster.
You're gonna make a so you can always carry that head around with you.
Courtney, any guesses?
Are you doing the Jared Leto thing?
That's right. Good job. See if the people can guess who this is. We were doing Pictionary, Josh and I, and he couldn't guess the third one. See if you can guess who these people are. Leave in the comments below, and let's get to the face. Step 1, you're going to need your sewing machine. You'll want to place it in front of you like so, and then have a clear space.
For this so-called tutorial, you will need some red satin, a variety of sparkly things, plaster strips, a bag of plaster, and of course, moral support.
You're gonna wanna cover up your hair. You really should use saran wrap for this. I don't have saran wrap. Some duct tape. You don't want quite this thickness of tape though, so we're gonna down the middle. Got a little bit on my hair. That's okay. It's okay if they get pulled out because according to Renaissance trends of beauty, it's actually, you would tweeze that. So we'll just have to wear Renaissance clothes for a while after this look. Now you're gonna wanna smother your face in some petroleum jelly. Oh, especially the eyebrows. I remember when I was in probably 8th grade, this was what my skin looked like all the time. Once after I got out of the pool. Okay, well now that I feel thoroughly dewy, heck, I feel Huey and Louie too, I'm going to put plaster strips all over my face. And I don't want to use all of these up because I would love to give my brother a head form of himself. That seems like something he would want for his birthday. It's gonna be hard to pull off, surprise him with that. Okay, last call. Anybody else want a plaster cast of themselves? Josh, why don't you want a plaster cast made of yourself?
During the process doesn't sound fun, and after, I just have a thing that I want to get rid of.
Step 1, we're gonna butcher that big strip into a bunch of tiny strips.
Take these strips, dip them in the warm water, and oh, Garion wants to be involved too. Fill in the little holes with your fingies. All right. While I do this, we're gonna explain something. The other day on my Instagram story, my dad was driving, and I got, oh my gosh, you wouldn't even believe how many DMs I got about how long my dad's arms were. Here's the thing. They are. I can't talk much more, otherwise I would explain.
Hi, I'm Micarah's twin named voiceover lady, here to explain to you that while my dad's arm is indeed very long, one of them has lately appeared even longer due to the fact that a spider burrowed under his skin and laid a bunch of eggs, but everything's better now, the eggs hatched, they all crawled out. Just kidding, it was simply a buildup of elbow oil, and my sister, niece, and I drained it. If you want to see a video of that, let me know. Once your face is approximately 75% mummified, you're going to want to put straws up your nostrils. This will be necessary if you are of the variety of creatures which breathe, though I would admonish you to exercise extreme caution because a similar method was actually used by the Egyptians to drain the brains out of their mummies. Don't put them too high up. Cutting the straws shorter will prevent your arm from banging against them, and take it from me, it's not comfortable.
Do you need help? Without touching it. Oh.
Yeah, that tape on here.
I'm Hannah Montana. Ew! I have a dirty face! A little blood.
After removing your face, take some plaster strips and cover the eyes and nose holes. Then, before filling it with plaster, make sure you hold the cast in front of a camera for a fun optical illusion. Is this the inverted or exverted? Extrovert? Cool, huh? Now spray the inside of your face with cooking oil. Fun fact, when I drained my dad's elbow, the stuff that came out looked just like vegetable oil. Now it's time to make some plaster pudding to pour into our face mold.
Tell me what you guys think of this sound.
Pour that rich, creamy batter into your face bowl and then bake at whatever temperature your house usually is for about 24 hours. Now peel the mold off of the cast. If the skin isn't as earth-shatteringly perfect as your own, exfoliate with some sandpaper. Then use a sharp object to carve out and contour your face. And please don't do what I just said in any other context.
Let me tell you, you ain't ever cut a crease till you've cut a crease.
I don't think I did a very good job carving out the eyes, but I did enjoy it. I think it would be super entertaining to see the outcome if a legitimately talented artist carved their own head like Joanna Cedia. Everybody go tell her to make her own head. What's that? You're wondering why I'm saying the word head when really it's just a face? Well, we are going to stick it onto this guy. I could have made the whole head out of plaster, but that would have been hecka heavy, and I ain't no Dwayne The Rock Johnson, so I just made a face out of plaster, then caulked it to a styrofoam head. Now we're going to use clay to blend the face to the head, so that it looks a little bit more like me, and a little bit less like a promo poster for the 2015 blockbuster Ex Machina. Everything went miraculously smoothly, until the clay dried and suddenly it started chipping off, which would be perfect if I were playing Medusa, but I'm not. I'm going to be Micarah Leto, so we had to find a different approach.
At the end of April, the sun sets for 4 months.
In lieu of clay as a blending agent, I just mixed up more plaster and used that, and it worked sort of perfectly, and I don't know why I didn't use that in the first place. Now it is time to start draping our dress. The problem is that a couple weeks ago I started draping this little number and never did anything about it, and I've got to remove it in order to drape this, so basically just lock this in your brain and appreciate it for what it is, because nothing's ever going to become of it. To drape the front of this dreamy dress, you're going to want to cut out 2 rectangles as long as the width between your shoulder and your foot. Pin each one to the top middle of each shoulder. Now begin folding and pleating each panel. Copy those same pleats at the waistline to cinch it in, but leave the chest a little bit more open and flowy. Sew across the top of all of the pleats at the top of each panel, and then sew down about a Kit Kat's length along the side of each pleat at the waist. Around this time, you'll start to feel that time has lost all meaning, so why not waste some? You'll begin harvesting decorations from your Christmas tree, which, yes, is still up, and you'll put too much effort into taking your dress in the wrong direction, knowing you'll have to dismantle it anyways, because, hey, it was fun.
Why is it that even when wasting time takes more effort than actually doing what I'm supposed to do, I still waste time?
Because you are the textbook definition of a procrastinator. Pull all the extra pull all the extra fabric flush against your dress form, and then draw the armholes. Then slice off any excess fabric. If you'd really like to surprise your brother by giving him a bust of his own face, I recommend just telling him that you discovered a new facial that will completely eliminate his pores forever. Which I just thought of, unfortunately. No, I got him to sit just because I told him I was going to give him a bust of his head. He found the experience deeply relaxing, as did this baby chicken. The construction of the back of our gown will be very similar to that of our front, except we will be using 1 panel instead of 2. Begin by pinning down each end and the middle, then pleating all the landmass in between. Draw a little cave door for your arms to poke through on each side, then remove the garment and cut those holes out. Now lay your back panel down on the ground, then lay the 2 front panels right on top of it, right sides together. Now pin them together along the top. Then sew them together along the top and sides. Time to make the arm blankets, or sleeves. Cut out a normal sleeve shape, but exaggerate the size, especially of the length of the shoulder. Now make several pleats down the entire length of your sleeve. Now let your sewing machine go on a little jog all along the edge of each of those sleeves. Now adhere them to your dress by method of sewing. Then, if the sewing machine gets too loud and your dad's talking on the phone with his best friend, take a little break.
Touch Uncle Ron. Can you say Papa?
Now back to our head.
So that no one will be able to see my head. I feel like the Westworld theme song should be playing right now. It's true what they say about spray tans covering imperfections. Maybe not. We're just gonna have to fix the rest with makeup.
To make the skin tone match yours, just slather it in whatever foundation you usually use on yourself. And hot tip, I found that the creepy realism really set in whenever I started using highlighter, so don't skimp out on that.
I've always been tempted to use this as eyeliner. Pardon how I look, I just woke up, but I come downstairs today and my dad, I don't know what the goal was, but now, is it recording? Now it's time to turn baldy locks into Goldilocks. I guess I didn't need to pull the mask down to wink. I feel like a kid in a candy store. Oh yeah, I see it.
Funny story, when I told the lady working in the back that I wanted to buy this wig, she took my head and started to go to the back room with it, and I said, oh, could I please keep that head? And she said, no, you don't keep head, you only keep wig. And I said, please, it's my head, and it took a while to make her understand, and I had to show her that head compared to my face for her to get it. But everything worked out and I didn't lose my head.
What do you think of my head that I just made?
I love the head. At first I was asking questions like, what is this?
Thank you so much for your help. Oh, and there was a sale, so I also got this wig.
Now, before I could return to the nonsense of being productive, I freighted my week away with thrifting, hoverboarding, and kayaking in the back of a pickup truck and on the water. Now, to make the wig look more like me, I had to darken the roots, so I used this colored hairspray.
Oh crap! Dang! I need to stop.
I thought I was all set to finish the dress tonight, and just do a grand reveal tomorrow, but I realized I have a hairline fracture.
The hairline has a fracture.
And I gotta figure out how I'm gonna fix that before I can move forward. Now, what I did about that was just not fix it, and that seemed to work out very well. Time-wise, anyway. Upon trying on this glorified graduation gown, I realized the sleeves hung a bit too limply for my taste, so I stuffed them with some tulle. Around this time, I began to ponder, how am I going to make this dress fitted without adding closures? Well, I'm going to leave it very baggy in the back, but fasten 2 giant ribbon-like pieces to each side so that I can simply tie it in the back. And finally, I sewed the 2 front panels closed, not all along the front, but just from about the mid-thigh up to where I wanted the neckline to hit. Then I slapped that dress on my dress form, tied it in the back, and set to the task of splattering my gown with a grotesque amount of sparkle. I used an array of thrifted / old family brooches that I found laying around, as well as some store-bought trim that I draped, pinned, and then hot glued in place. To make the belt, make sure you get a wide rhinestone trim, and then cut towards the middle. Cut a bunch of strips so that they just hang in the middle. Do not cut them all the way off. I left a couple of them dangling, but with the others, I curved them up in sort of a smile shape, you know, so my hips would be smiling at everyone.
Nipsey. From now on, I'll be keeping myself company. I'd say this is totally fixable, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Too late. I have ahead of myself.